Yeah, this is rather interesting. I'm still concerned about Caitlin Clark playing in this system. I can tell you, until I visually see it really work like it worked with Christy Sides on offense, I'm going to remain skeptical. I understand that gets me a lot of hate from a lot of people because, well, injuries, playoffs, oh my God, what a performance. I'm talking about Caitlin Clark and her play on the court and what she's allowed to.
She is literally like Taylor Swift 2.0. The words exploded from Stephanie White, Fever coach, painting a stark picture of Caitlin Clark's unprecedented fame. White wasn't celebrating, she was expressing a raw, undeniable frustration. Clark's name, White lamented, was being twisted into clickbait, utilized in ways few athletes ever experience. This wasn't praise, it was a desperate plea for perspective, a glimpse into the immense pressure cooker of Clark's world, and a powerful signal of the boiling point reached by those around her. The silence that followed her comments was deafening, a precursor to the storm brewing.
We've got the early odds for most valuable player and the championship involving the Indiana Fever. And in fact, that is where I want to start this video. And look, I'm going to also continue to say something else. When I watch a sporting event, I want to be entertained. And I was not entertained by the brand of offense this team played. All right? That's just being...
Just as White's controversial comments hit, BetMGM and FanDuel dropped their bombshell. Caitlin Clark is already number 2 in the early 2026 WNBA MVP odds. This stunning revelation places her behind only Nafisa Collier, with Jay Wilson trailing closely. For a player who hasn't even played a full season, this is an astronomical projection, solidifying her status as a global superstar. But this very fact, this unprecedented spotlight, appears to be the core of White's exasperation, linking her passionate statements directly to the league's new reality.
And look, I'm going to also continue to say something else. When I watch a sporting event, I want to be entertained. And I was not entertained by the brand of offense this team played. All right? That's just being honest. It is what it is, right? People are going to like what they want to like. And that's how I get down. So let's check this out. As the nearly 7-month-long WNBA offseason kicks off, Caitlin Clark's initial 2026 WNBA MVP odds.
Stephanie White's furious reaction stems from how Clark's name gets thrown into a lot of conversations that have nothing to do with her, or her interest, or our team, or our sport. This isn't just about popularity, it's about control, or the lack thereof, over Clark's narrative. The WNBA, once a niche sport, is now a global phenomenon thanks to Clark, and that sudden explosion of attention is creating unintended, complex consequences for everyone involved, especially for the coaching staff navigating this new terrain.
Comments about Caitlin Clark's popularity. All right? So, talking about Caitlin Clark's popularity, it reminds Fever coach Stephanie White of another megastar, one that, ironic or not, is one of Clark's longtime idols. Quote, she is literally like Taylor Swift 2.0, and because of that, her name gets thrown into a lot of conversations that have nothing to do with her or her interest or our team or our sport or whatever, White told the Indy Star on Fever Insider Podcast episode.
The Taylor Swift 2.0 inches comparison, though intended to highlight Clark's megastar status, simultaneously reveals White's deep concern. She sees Clark as a young woman whose immense talent and appeal have made her a commodity, a name leveraged by others. This goes beyond simple fandom. It speaks to the commercial exploitation of a burgeoning icon. The parallels to a pop culture phenomenon like Swift underline the sheer scale of the attention and the potential pitfalls that come with such overwhelming public scrutiny.
No matter the location, feel like a home game. An economist estimated that Clark accounted for 1 in 6 tickets sold in the league in her rookie 2024 season. So, I mean, yeah, Clark brings engagement, heads move when her name is mentioned, but what isn't considered, White said, is how using her name affects Clark's real life. White first mentioned that Clark was used as a pawn in other people's games on a radio show, Query and Company, then expounded on her comments. She probably...
White's frustration wasn't just hypothetical. She initially voiced concerns about Clark being a pawn on a radio show, then expounded further. This wasn't a casual remark, but a carefully considered multi-platform declaration of unease. It underscores a growing tension within the Fever organization. How do you manage a phenomenon? How do you shield a 23-year-old from the relentless, often disingenuous, external noise? White's comments are a window into the daily battles fought off the court.
And I'm not sure Stephanie White likes that. I'm sure she doesn't. Too bad. Too bad. You're the coach of the WNBA, the closest version to the WNBA's got to an America's team, which puts a very hot spotlight on the coach. It's an unfortunate side effect of the amount of fame that Clark has. Quote, her name grabs attention, White said. Her name is clickbait. Her name is utilized in a way that very few people and athletes are. It's the same smear as LeBron James, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, as Taylor Swift. I wish that Caitlin was...
She is a 23-year-old kid who loves to play this game, who loves her teammates, who loves to compete at a high level. White's words humanize Clark, moving beyond the clickbait to the athlete beneath. This plea for empathy hints at a feeling that Clark's genuine passion is being overshadowed by external narratives. The coach is seemingly protective, aiming to redirect the focus back to the purity of the sport, away from the endless punditry and sensationalism that now surrounds her star player.
You know, I mean, that just comes with it. She's extremely popular. She's done to the WNBA what Tiger Woods did to golf, where you had non-golf fans tuning in to watch Tiger Woods. And then by osmosis, and look, I never watched golf until Tiger showed up. And then I got to learn a lot of the other golf stars. I still watch some golf. And I don't ever think that would have happened without Tiger Woods being involved. And
the economic impact of Clark is undeniable and staggering. An economist estimated she accounted for 1 in 6 tickets sold in her rookie season, bringing sold-out crowds nationwide. Every game, regardless of location, feels like a home game for the Fever. This undeniable success, however, creates a double-edged sword. The massive revenue and exposure also fuel the very media frenzy. White is so concerned about making it incredibly difficult to contain the wildfire of public interest. White's direct accusation of Clark being used as a pawn in other people's games is perhaps the most pointed criticism. It implies that various entities, media, commentators, even other leagues, are leveraging Clark's name for their own agendas, regardless of her actual involvement or well-being. This is a powerful charge, suggesting a cynical manipulation that goes against the spirit of the game and certainly impacts the individual caught in the crosshairs. The intense spotlight on Clark inevitably shines on Stephanie White herself. Caitlin Clark being on this team puts a spotlight on Stephanie White, and the implication is clear. She's not sure Stephanie White likes that. This suggests a personal component to White's furious reaction. Coaching the WNBA's closest thing to America's team comes with immense, often unwanted scrutiny. It's an unfortunate, perhaps unavoidable, side effect of managing such unprecedented fame. Despite White's visible frustration, the benefits Clark brings are irrefutable. The WNBA's media rights deal skyrocketed from $60 million to $220 million, potentially even $260 million when other contracts are factored in. This financial explosion is directly attributed to Clark's drawing power. While the personal toll is a valid concern, the league itself is experiencing a massive boom, offering a stark contrast between individual burden and collective prosperity. White explicitly compared Clark's impact to other legendary figures, LeBron James, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods. This is not a casual comparison. It places Clark in the pantheon of athletes who transcend their sport. Such an acknowledgement underscores the immense pressure she faces, but also the unparalleled opportunity for the WNBA. Yet the question remains, at what cost does this level of transformative fame come for the individual and the immediate team around her? The Tiger Woods analogy is particularly telling. Clark, like Woods, draws in non-fans, expanding the sport's reach exponentially. Many, including the speaker, admitted they never watched golf until Woods appeared, then learned about other stars by osmosis. This phenomenon is now engulfing the WNBA. The constant conversation around Clark is undeniably good for their league, transforming viewership and engagement, a benefit that White, however exasperated, must ultimately. Yet, lingering skepticism remains regarding the on-court marriage between White's system and Clark's playing style. The speaker explicitly states, "Until I visually see it really work like it worked with Christie Sides on offense, I'm going to remain skeptical." This critical assessment of the team's tactical approach introduces another layer of pressure, suggesting that the off-court spectacle might be overshadowing underlying questions about on-court chemistry and performance. The speaker also voiced disappointment with the team's brand of offense. Demanding entertainment from the main event, he declared, "I was not entertained by the brand of offense this team played." This blunt assessment highlights the soaring expectations Clark brings to every game. Fans are tuning in for a spectacle, and if the team's style of play doesn't deliver, it creates a significant disconnect between the hype and the on-court product. Despite these concerns, the Indiana Fever are already being pegged among championship favorites at plus 350. This is alongside perennial powerhouses like the Aces and Liberty. The sheer weight of Clark's presence and potential has shifted the entire league's perception of the Fever, immediately elevating them from obscurity to contenders. This expectation is a heavy crown, adding another layer of pressure on both the young star and her coaching staff. Stephanie White must come to terms with an unshakable reality. As long as she is coach of this team, there's going to be a massive spotlight on every player on this team. Every tiny detail, every interaction is going to be looked at, it's going to be dissected. This isn't just about Clark, it's about the entire Fever organization being under an unprecedented microscope, a reality that demands unwavering resilience and strategic navigation from the entire coaching staff. This level of scrutiny, while new to the WNBA, isn't entirely without precedent in sports history. Imagine if Michael Jordan or LeBron James had played in the age of social media. The speaker argues it would have been the same way. LeBron, for example, was once a constant subject of daily discussion. This historical context normalizes Clark's situation, but also underscores the unparalleled intensity of modern fame and the unique challenges it presents. So, Stephanie White's fury, or at least her intense concern, reveals the profound, often uncomfortable, intersection of unprecedented athletic fame and the harsh glare of the modern media. Caitlin Clark's stunning MVP odds are a testament to her talent and impact, but they also amplify the very pressures White articulated. It's a complex dance between celebrating a superstar and protecting a young athlete, between cashing in on popularity and preserving the sanctity of the game. What does this mean for the future of the WNBA and for Clark herself?